For someone like Rahul Gandhi, the leader of the Congress party, and someone who has had more launches than NASA put together in its entire lifetime, a certain bit of maturity in the ongoing crisis against China is warranted. However, Mr. Gandhi has chosen to provocative tweets against the government, particularly against the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi. In a very recent tweet, he said that Narendra Modi is actually Surender Modi, or perhaps he meant surrendered. What the typo-filled tweet was meant to mean, no one would really know. But it was surely another example of sheer Congress hypocrisy when it comes to national interests and the pursuit of diplomatic actions against irresponsible neighbors. One can easily go back to 1962 when Nehru's failure led to the defeat of India against the war with China in 1962. However, to blame something which happened more than 50 years ago or to pin it to Rahul Gandhi would be unfair and probably incorrect. So let's go back to more recent time, 2004 to 2014, the era of UPA 1 and UPA 2 under Prime Minister Manmohan Singh and Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi. The first instance was the attacks of 26/11 and the response to it. Former IAF chief B.S. Dhanoa has made the statement publicly that the Indian Air Force was ready to hit the terror launch pads in POK. However, they never got the political approval to do so. Who was responsible for that? The same people who today claim that Modi has surrendered to China. That's not all. Rahul Gandhi, just a few days later, after the 26/11 attacks, which killed more than 160 people in Mumbai and left the entire country traumatized, was seen partying in Delhi's Chhatrapur area. That's Rahul Gandhi for you, perhaps. When it comes to 26/11, another statement is very much warranted, that of the deaths, the number of terrorist attacks between 2006 and 2008 in India's hinterland. For the sake of numbers, I will exclude the terrorist attacks that happened in J&K, was sponsored by left-wing extremism, or happened in Northeast. So if we do not take these terrorist attacks into account, 788 people were killed between 2006 and 2008 alone. That's in India's hinterland. If you go for the numbers between 2014 and 2018, the number is 87. And yet, Rahul Gandhi thinks Modi has surrendered. There's another interesting statement. In 2008, when the Beijing Olympics happened, Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi and Robert Vadra and their two kids were invited to Beijing for the inaugural ceremony. Over there, the Chinese Communist parties, and China's then Vice President Xi Jinping, today's China's president, and Rahul Gandhi signed an MOU, which was strictly party to party. Perhaps they wanted to get closer to India's first political family as it was then. Will Rahul Gandhi come forward in public and discredit that MOU now? Well, we haven't seen him doing so far. The third point brings me to 2013. The UPA2 is in its dusk, almost all set to be voted out of power. And here's A.K. Antony, Congress's defense minister, making a very questionable statement. He said in the parliament, a clip of which is viral these days on Twitter, that underdeveloped borders are safer than developed borders. He was talking about the big infrastructure pushed by China along the LAC. And he said that India had not invested in the same for years, and that was coming back to haunt them. But talking about the infrastructure on the Chinese side, the same infrastructure push that has become the point of argument between India and China today, let's go back to 1997. In 1997, the government, along with the China Study Group, identified 73 strategic roads with a total length of more than 4,600 kilometers to be built along the LAC. These were labeled as India-China border roads. They were approved by the Cabinet Committee of Security in 1999. However, at the end of 2009, at the end of the first UPA era, only 520 kilometers of those 4,600 kilometers roads were completed. By 2012, the number increased to 625 kilometers. That's all. When Modi took over in 2014, the infrastructure got a big push. This was because of two reasons. One, the cost delays, the infrastructure delays, the bureaucratic delays that had pushed India's infrastructure back by decades at the LAC. And second, the Doklam standoff in 2017. Which brings me to my fourth point, the Doklam standoff. The two countries were engaged in a very tense standoff in 2017, and Rahul Gandhi was finding time to entertain the Chinese ambassador. Of course, overnight it became a media fiasco, it became a political fiasco. And Rahul Gandhi was quick to turn to Twitter and clarify that it was a part of his job to be acquainted with with the happenings that were going on in the area, with the incidents that were going on in the area, with the information that was critical to what was going on in Doklam. Perhaps as an MP of Amethi, the same constituency he lost in 2019 to Smriti Irani, he could have thought better and instead put his might behind the government of that time, but he chose not to. Instead, he was busy clicking himself before and with the Chinese ambassador along with a few Congress persons. That's Congress for you, and the same Congress today questioning Modi's stand. One last point, one last thought I would like to leave you with is the question of Siachen. Some blame it to Manmohan Singh's Nobel Prize syndrome, and some blame it to Congress's push for peace against Pakistan. But there was certainly a point in the UPA era when the Siachen Glacier, when there were talks of the Siachen Glacier, for the military to exit from there, for both the militaries. Perhaps the Congress government expected Pakistan to keep up its part of the promise. It was foolish to do so, certainly, given what happened in 1999, what happened in 1971, what happened in 1965, and what's been going on since 1947. And yet the Congress had the audacity to think of something like that. And today, they claim that Modi has surrendered to China. Rahul Gandhi is a product of privilege. For comparing him to against Narendra Modi, who rose to ranks from a party member, from a bloc party member to the Prime Minister of India, Rahul Gandhi has no comparison to be made here. Rahul Gandhi was never the chief minister. Rahul Gandhi was an MP from a family seat, the same he lost and had to contest 2 seats in 2019 after a political career of more than 15 years. So where does Rahul Gandhi find the audacity to question Modi on the Ladakh stand? This was the same Rahul Gandhi who said that the money being used to procure new fighter jets should instead be given to the families of the Indian Air Force pilots who lose their lives in plane crashes. This is the crassiness it comes from. So this question is warranted. Is Rahul Gandhi right about Modi surrendering to China? Absolutely not. And this is one thing we all must remember.